Bloomberg has said and done offensive and terrible things to pretty much every group that you could imagine other than wealthy white people. And I mean, the evidence speaks for itself. In fact, he worked with the CIA in order to do surveillance on Muslims in New York, in fact, the tri-state area, with absolutely no just cause. Okay, so there was no reason to be suspicious of them. But the CIA infiltrated student groups, charities, and various communities in an effort to spy on them. And here's what we know from the details. Now, there was an op-ed written that I highly recommend you all read. It's in the Washington Post. It was written by Asad Dandia, who is a Muslim American. And he says that Bloomberg's NYPD spied on me for being Muslim. He's never apologized, and that's absolutely true. While he's been pressured and forced to apologize for other terrible things that he's done, including stop and frisk, which by the way, didn't feel genuine at all, he hasn't apologized to the Muslim community at all. And so Asad writes, at 19, I was targeted by that discriminatory surveillance, and today I'm reminded of how little the leaders responsible for it have grappled with the consequences. While in college in 2011, I co-founded a charity dedicated to serving the poor in my community and in New York City. We spent our weekends delivering groceries to families whom we knew could use the support. And as our work expanded to include feeding the homeless and establishing partnerships with other charity and relief organizations, we received volunteers and inquiries from all over the city. Now, at that point, he gets approached by someone who's interested in what his organization is doing. But Asad had no idea that this person was an informant. So he writes, in March of 2012, a young man messaged me over Facebook asking to get involved. He wanted to become a better Muslim and asked if there were any events or anything that he could attend with me as a start. Now, they got very close, and at one point, he even invited this individual to his home to have dinner with his family. And then later that spring, two separate credible sources told me that the police were watching me. Apparently there was a file with my name on it somewhere. Then in the fall of 2012, a young man confessed, or the young man who had reached out to him confessed on Facebook that he was an informant for the NYPD. The person I'd come to consider a friend who ate food cooked by my mother's hands admitted it was all a front. And he said that there were others like him. So this has real ramifications for the Muslim community, right? It's not just, oh, they were being spied on. No, that leads to a lot of distrust, a lot of fear. I want to get to that in just a minute, but first, wanted to get your thoughts as well.
Oh, absolutely, in terms of the breach of trust. And man, the way it impacts you is something that is very difficult to describe, but I've been subject to surveillance as well. And it really messes you up in terms of your ability to just interact with the world around you and to feel like you are a whole and complete part of it. And so to be targeted because of your ethnicity or because of your religion, that it's so disappointing, especially when we have this American creed about equality and welcoming in everyone else. And to have Bloomberg really kind of sit down and say, oh, well, this was important for the safety of Americans and New Yorkers. It's, you have to realize that everybody, they're New Yorkers too. We're all Americans. And so maybe our rights shouldn't necessarily be trampled upon.
And he used the same justification for stop and frisk.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. I mean, how many of our civil liberties have been violated with this nonsense talking point about keeping people safe, right?
Yeah, it's a cop-out. Like with all of our security and safety from surveillance has been a facade. If the government wants information, they're gonna get it. And other governments are a little bit more forthright with their doing it. In America and a lot of other countries, we just have this lie that, oh, we'll just do it in certain cases and it's not this kind of dragnet where we're looking for everyone. But this specifically like, at times racially and definitely religiously motivated charge by NYPD. This is just what a city can do. Like it kind of freaks you about what the government could do, but it just, to me, the most shocking, horrifying thing about this is being this person who feels like they have people in the community who they can go to, especially at a time when there's a lot of Islamophobia. So you feel like you can speak to people who are close to you, who have your same background, and maybe tell them more. And that's why they want to use informants to investigate. I think there was a different article that was calling these people like mosque crawlers, the NYPD was, referring to, it's derogatory to even think of like, you're a human being, you don't crawl. Or like babies crawl, but like regular people don't crawl. So it's just like kind of dehumanizing in that sense.
But they don't, do they even see them as humans? Of course they just see them as threats, that's it. They get treated as if they're not human, as if they're just dangerous animals that need to be kept, people need to keep a lookout out for them, and it hasn't changed. Like, let's just keep it real. It hasn't changed. Surveillance has only expanded since then.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
It hasn't stopped.
And I love how they say, oh, well, we need to follow and monitor these people to keep you safe. Yet, like, we notice like all these people like Weinstein, Epstein, all of these like white powerful men are out here engaging in all sorts of crime and misconduct.
Yes, well, it's okay if you're a certain group of people.
Exactly.
You can go ahead and rape minors all you want. People will cover for you.
Exactly.
Not only cover for you, but those people who are doing those horrible acts will hire investigators and private people, if you read like Ronan Farrow's work, but they will hire people to investigate and spy on people.
On the victims.
On the victims and people who are trying to shine a light on it.
Oh yeah.
So it's very clear that a lot of the systems in the society only work for the powerful. It's not necessarily based on justice.
Yep.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.